for the Lake Elsinore area. It's kind of weird meeting you guys via Zoom, I'm not gonna lie, but we adapt and we overcome and we figure out what it is. So I'm here primarily just to answer questions. I know it was supposed to be my presentation to you guys to tell you a little bit about the Marine Corps period. However, I find it easier that in order for me to provide you guys what you like, the information that you're looking for, or maybe answer questions, for you guys to tell me or ask me anything. That way I can maybe expand or explain a little bit more on it. I will, however, give you guys a brief, thing on me. I've been in the Marine Corps for 10 years now. I'm a staff sergeant, which is also an E6. I have been on recruiting duty for almost 2.5 years now. And my primary thing that I do in the Marine Corps is administration. So I deal primarily with money, relocating from one area to the next, making sure that all Marines have what they need to if they go on deployment, and their families are taken care of. In a nutshell, that's pretty much what I do without going too in depth.
Remember in some of the other presentations we talked about in the military, and this is including the Marine Corps, any job you can think about, regular job you can think about in the regular world, the Marine Corps will have too. Like you said, she's in admin work, so she isn't boots on the ground like you would maybe think about for the Marines. She handles the administrative side, and any branch, any company, anything you can think of has an administrative side.
That is correct. We have over 300 jobs, anywhere from infantry, being a firefighter, being in the aircrafts maintenance, as far as like being the mechanic for the aircrafts, depending on what aircraft you want to do or you want to work on, as well as being a supply guy, logistics, having to coordinate moving certain things from location to location, and then what else? Being a cook, if that's your passion. So many different opportunities for you guys. It's all a matter of what it is that you're looking for, what primarily is something that interests you guys.
Why don't some of you let her know what you're interested in pursuing as a career, and she can tell you if something is available in the Marine Corps. Who am I going to call on randomly?
Excuse me. I don't mean to interrupt, Stacy, Staff Sergeant. Would you guys please turn your video on, please?
Our video isn't on?
No, your video is on. I'm asking the students to turn their videos on. Please, thank you. It's so nice to talk to a face instead of a bunch of names. And you'll get more out of this experience, and it'll cause you to participate. Thank you. Paige, let's go. Put some light behind you. Stacy, turn yours on too.
Can't.
Okay, there we go. That feel a lot better, Staff Sergeant?
It does, yes. Now I can actually put a face to a name.
That's right. We have some really good young people here. They are on their way. There's a bit of what's the word that I'm looking for? Confidence building that needs to be there. But they can look at you. You don't look much older than them, and you're already an E6?
Yes.
So let's see, you must have went in at 18.
I was 17 actually when I enlisted.
Yeah, see that, look at that, young ladies. You can be a Marine and still, right? And still make E6. And so you've done that in less than 10 years.
Yes, so I picked up E6 7.5 years, I believe it was.
7.5 years, that's amazing. That's amazing. Did you have any ROTC time?
I did not. The only reason is because my my high school did not offer it.
Okay. Well, no,
However, I did get, I was meritoriously promoted in one of my ranks, which I guess evened out to if I did have any ROTC.
oh, okay. All right. Well, hey, listen, welcome. Do you know what this group is? This is primarily our sophomores, I think, right?
I'm
Yes.
not sure.
Yeah, it's primarily sophomores. And
Okay,
this is a great time for them to be exploring the different opportunities that they could have post high school. Okay. And young ladies, I think it's great for the young ladies to see that there are successful women inside of the Marine Corps doing a great job. Okay.
thank
And
you.
Staff Sergeant, I know your name is not Stacy. What's
I couldn't get her.
My name is Staff Sergeant Lopez. First name is Elizabeth.
Staff Sergeant Elizabeth Lopez? All right, ma'am. The floor is yours. I will give back the balance of my time to you.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Hey, so you guys are sophomores. That's perfect. Perfect time to start, prepping yourself. Junior year, hopefully this next coming up year, you guys are actually going to be physically in school and you're going to be doing more activities as far as sports or any extracurricular activities. What questions do you guys have right now that you think may help you? It could be anything personal as far as like for me, or my job, or just any doubts that you have as far as like military or things that you've heard.
Is the boot camp really hard like they say it is?
Yes and no. The reason I say that is because when it comes to boot camp, I personally believe that it is more mentally hard than it is physically hard. Your body, and not to mention, we help you guys out physically get to where you need to be, but at the same time, your body is going to do what, like, it will push until it cannot. It's more of your mindset in the sense of knowing why you're there, why you're doing it, how this is going to benefit you, how this is going to, just another day. What I tell all of my young men that are about to leave, or even my young ladies that are about to leave, is when you feel like quitting, tell yourself that you'll quit tomorrow. You continue to quit tomorrow, and today you put 100%, then by the time you realize it, you were already done.
Wow.
Can you speak to what's it like being a young lady in the Marines or young woman?
So it's different. What I will say that at the same time, we are all the same. There's no, let me look at this female and this male and which one is going to have a leg up. At the end of the day, our performance and what we do, how we, I guess, perform in our duties as a Marine, that is what helps us out. That is what sets us apart. So they're looking at the exact same things when it comes to physical fitness and how will you perform in your job and the overall aspect of being a Marine, not a gender. Let me look at this female, this group of females. Let me look at this group of males. As far as like being day to day, it's just like being in school, just with a little older crowd. Mr. Eduardo, what questions do you have?
Not one right now.
So if I call on you guys, I want you guys to ask me something. You may not have anything, but maybe a doubt, maybe anything that you can possibly think of that you're like, for instance, what do you want to do? As you go, right now you're on your sophomore year, right? What is your current plan right now?
Well, my current plan is to graduate from high school and go into college to get to my career.
And what is your career, if you don't mind me asking?
It's either the Air Force or the Marines, one of those two.
Okay, so what is the difference between both of those? Like, what is the two things that you're interested in both branches?
That's a hard question. I like to stay on the ground, but you will go in the air. So
Okay. So what draws you to the Air Force and what draws you to the Marines? Let me reword it that way.
Well, what draws me to the Air Force is that I'm currently into it on the flying planes, helicopters, and other things you would do in the air. The Marines, I will be able to be in the water and the land.
Okay. Just as a generic question to everybody, do you guys all know the difference between all 5 branches or all branches?
Yeah,
Okay, Mr. Eduardo, go ahead and tell us. What is the Army what is the Army primarily known for?
well, they're primarily known for like staying in the staying over at some of the mountains and won't necessarily stay on the land.
Mhm. And what about Mr. Connor? What is the Navy? What is the Navy primarily known for?
Isn't it to watch over the water and make sure nothing's going on in the ocean?
Okay, I mean, yes, their strong suit is in the water, so yes, you are absolutely correct. What about Mr. Jacob? What is the Air Force known for?
The Air Force is known for protecting the U.S. and everywhere else that we're allied with through the air, and also fighting in the air.
What about Miss Page? What about the Coast Guard?
I actually don't know too much about that one, but I want to say protecting the water, kind of like the Navy, but
That's correct. I don't need too much detail. I'm gonna explain it to you guys, but you have the understanding of what it is. And finally, what about Mr. Nathan? What are the Marines known for?
I don't really search the Marines that much, so I'm kind of fuzzy on that one.
Okay. To keep it simple, right? The Army is primarily known for ground, meaning their focus is anything ground related. The trucks moving within the vicinity of staying in the ground. Okay. The Air Force, their primary focus is air, right? Any air support that we need, moving supplies via air. The Navy are the big ships, the ones moving with the large bodies of water, going from side to side and taking large amounts of individuals with them to include supplies, gears, moving the trucks and things like that, to include aircrafts. Coast Guard, you're more, it's in their name, more along the coast. So they're more immediate, like once it starts getting to the land. So they're right about in between. The Marine Corps, we are what you call amphibious, meaning we support everything, land, air, and sea. Anywhere you will find us. So if Mr. Eduardo, going back to your question or your career path that you were referring to, saying that you're very interested in aircrafts, the Marine Corps also has aviation. We have an aviation community. We are same exact field, depending on what it is that you want to do primarily. So that's why I was asking you more into detail, what is it that you want to do? Because if you don't, you have an idea as to where you want to go, you have an idea of what it is that you want to do, but you want to make sure that you're asking these type of questions. For instance, a question that could have been asked would have been, hey, do you guys have aircrafts? Or do you guys also fly in planes? Do you guys, what is it exactly that you guys do within the aircraft community or aviation community? Does that make sense? Something that's going to trigger your interest in what you want to do. Miss Jess. Jesse? Mr. Jesse, what question can you think about right now? No?
Cadet Diaz, can you hear us? So she's
Oh,
asking
okay.
you a question. Try one more time, please.
What question do you have, Mr. Diaz?
Do you guys have anything related to like IT, technology, and stuff like that?
We do. We have communications. That is what is under is communications. They can go anywhere from programming a computer or programming a radio, programming different networks and stuff like that. But yes, there is an entire community for what it is IT that you're asking about. They go to school, I believe it is here in 29 Palms. So thank you for that. What about Ms. Sky?
How many days a week do you work?
So that's a good question. Who here is familiar with the active duty and reserves? Okay, a little bit. Who can tell me a little bit of the reserve program?
Isn't the sorry, I can't stop. Reserve program, isn't that where you're stationed somewhere and you stay there, like you don't go from place to place and you stay local?
Yes, exactly. Who can tell me a little bit more about the active duty component? Any volunteers?
Active duty is more of moving around, going to different places, and not staying local, pretty much.
In a nutshell, yes, you're absolutely correct. So yes, and that's kind of where it goes in as far as what is what you guys are looking to do. If you're looking into the reserve component, like Mr. Connor said, it would be you're staying here locally, something is keeping you here, or you just want to go to college. Like for those of you that are thinking, I want to go to college and I want to experience the college life, but are also thinking, how am I gonna, pay for it? You've already done scholarships, you've already done the school help, and parents may or may not be helping, depending on what it is. Reserve option, the way that one works is you would be here, you would stay in the local area, like Elsinore, Temecula, wherever exactly it is you want to stay, but it would be here within the Southern California area. Your primary duty station would be either Miramar or Camp Pendleton. Those are the only reserve stations, aside from maybe Pico Rivera, that are here within California. So you would be there. You would go there one weekend out of the month, and during the remainder of the month, you would have pretty much do what it is that you guys do, whether it's going to college, going to college, or work, or both, and also having that on the side as a secondary. Active duty is a little bit more different. So Ms. Guy asked how long or how many days do I work? I work Monday through Friday, from about 8 to 5. That is about the same when I go back and when I get done with recruiting. I usually go in like around 8 and I get out around 4, depending on the schedule. Anytime after that is my time. It would be like I go home, I go to my daughter and my dog, my crazy dog. And I do what it is that I do. For instance, I'm also going to college. I start my semester here on the next week, actually. That's what I would be doing when I'm not at work. And it's a little bit different because in about 3 years, like coming up here in a few months, I may be leaving, or I may be staying locally. We'll find out. but there's a kind of a question of where you're going to go move on to next. And with the reserves, you know exactly where you're going to be. You know exactly what you're going to be doing and where you're going to be at for the next few years, unless you decide to move, and then that just makes it a little bit different, but not really. Does that answer your question, Ms. Sky?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
What about Abigail?
Uh-oh.
When you're in active duty, do you get like a notice ahead of time before you have to leave, or do they just tell you?
So I believe her question was that if I get notice when I'm on active duty, if I get notice, is that correct?
Yes, because my uncle, when he was in the Marines, he told me that whenever he would move, because he was on active duty, they would always notify him when he was gonna leave.
Right, so that is correct. We get notified a few months in advance before we're going to be relocating. And the purpose of them notifying us is obviously to let us get our family situated, make sure that we take care of the things that we need to here, to whether it's selling a home or cutting off the lease, and giving us enough time to learn the new area, schools, home locations to where to live and things like that. So yes, we do get notified, especially for instance, if our orders mean that we're going overseas, then we need to do a little bit more, and just to get us ready, us and our family, to be able to move to that new location. So typically we get about a few months. I want to say anywhere between 4 to 6 months in advance of notice.
I have a question.
Yes.
What have your deployments looked like as the admin side of things? Like, where have you been? And because I think when people think of deployment, the first thing that comes to their mind is, desert, guns, boots on the ground kind of thing. So what do your deployments look like?
So as a deployment, I have never been on a deployment. I've been in for 10 years and I have never been in a deployment.
Okay.
That's not by choice. That's just kind of how that one went. However, duty stations, I have been overseas and I have been to Bahrain. Does anybody know where that is? One. So that's over in the Middle East, and that's right next to Iran, I want to say, or in Saudi.
It's Saudi Arabia, next to that one.
I was about to say Saudi Arabia, so it's
United
right
Arab-
next to Saudi Arabia. And I was there for about 1.5 years. That one we did a exercise in Jordan, which the exercise was kind of like I guess prepping us for if we needed to go on deployment, for if we went on deployment. It's just making sure that all of our procedures are good. But for the admin side, if I were to go on deployment, what it would be is I would be doing my exact same job, just in a foreign location. And a deployment can be anywhere from being in the Middle East or going to Japan or going to just another country.
I know in other branches, I don't know if it works the same for you, but if you're in the reserves and you go into recruiting, you're technically deployed because you're going active. That's what the other two branches say, that they're deployed.
So not for us.
No.
That's just kind of, if you're in the reserve and you're doing anything additional, it's mostly like it's helping you. And that means that you're trying to do more. That means that you want to either try to go back to active duty or try to go into the active duty component, or maybe you just want to get more. Because anytime that a reservist is away from their home, they pretty much get paid like active duty component, and if not
Right.
more.
I have a question.
Yes.
Do you guys do like military police like the other branches?
Yes, we do.
If you did that, can you do that on reserve or do you have to do it on active duty?
No, you could do that on reserve as well. The main difference between the two is if you're on active duty, the way it works is a program. Like within a program, so say for instance, my program was CB, and there's 2 or 3 different job fields underneath that category. As a reservist, you know exactly what job you will be doing before you even go to boot camp. So as a reservist, you learn your job before you go to boot camp. As an inactive duty guy, you learn it while you're in boot camp, the specific MOS.
Okay, thank you.
What about Mr. Bradley? I don't think I've called on him. No.
Cadet Smith. Uh-oh. Technical difficulties.
Okay, what about Mr. Nathan? I don't know if I'm looking at Nathan or the puppy, but.
Both.
Oh, okay, there he is.
Ask a question, Cadet Cowdy.
Do you guys have anything that has to do with like maintenance, like with cars or like tanks?
We do. Maintenance as far as if you're looking at cars, aviation, airplanes, depending on what aircraft you guys or what part of it would you be working in. There is.
What about the F4 Phantom?
I am not 100% savvy on the different type of aircrafts. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. However, that would be a different conversation if you wanted to talk to one of the other recruiters when that time came.
The F4 retired after Vietnam. That's in a museum right now.
See, you're testing me. I told you I'm not good with the aircraft. Who haven't I heard from?
Maybe Ms. Sanchez? Looks like you're in a restaurant. Where are you?
I'm at home. That's like a little arc I have.
Oh, how fun.
Yeah. What is your guys like? Do you guys have any like medic areas in the Marines?
That is the only thing that we do not offer as far as jobs. That would be the only area that we do not have. However, what I will say is we do have a program that is called the Green to Blue Side. And basically what it is you come in, that's a more of an officer program, if that's a route that you guys are looking to take. But it allows you to pretty much earn the title being a Marine, get a different job skill or something, apply for the green to blue side, which basically means that you want to do something in the medicine side, anywhere from a nurse to a doctor. If you get accepted to that program, you'll transition from a active duty Marine to an active duty Navy officer. But you will not be doing let me start at the bottom, be a corpsman, and let me work my way up to the doctor. You would primarily just be doing that. Obviously, you would go to school in between to get you to where you need to be. And prior to actually submitting for that, you need to have a certain amount of credits, like a certain amount of college credits to be eligible to apply for it. Then after that, if you do get accepted, your primary focus would just be, now you would be in the Navy, however, you would be a doctor in the Navy. But that's what that program is called, the Green to Blue Side. That's about as close as we have to anything medicine related. Obviously, we have certain credentials within the Marine Corps to get you the basics, making sure that you know how to keep somebody alive, how to, if things were to happen, the immediate action.
How about if you explain how many days of vacation that you get paid vacation each year? First year on the job, because that's an amazing answer, I think.
So I'll go a little bit with the basics of what our benefits overall are. If you guys have already spoken to some of the other branches, they should have already mentioned some of these. The reason I say that is because when it comes to the benefits, most of those are DoD wide, meaning Department of Defense, and they're the same throughout every branch of the military. So we all get 30 days paid vacation on a yearly. If you do not use them and you wish to save them for the next year, they roll over. So in a year, you can have up to 60 days. For instance, myself, I have about 45 days, and I'm not taking vacation anytime soon, which means that I'll just continue to accumulate them.
And those are paid days.
Yes, those are paid days.
You don't find that in many businesses anywhere else.
No, it's extremely difficult. But yes, those are paid days that you can go off into the wilderness if that's what you choose to do.
Have you tried space age travel?
I have, yes.
Maybe explain to them what that means.
So when I was in Bahrain, we would go to Dubai, or I got the opportunity to go with a few of my coworkers to
Go shopping. Go ahead. Tell us. We know. Go shopping.
we got the opportunity to go to Paris.
Wow. So how much did that cost you?
Nothing except for what I
Spent.
And the reason why it cost me nothing is because at the time I was single, and it was a lot easier for us to just put our names down and just say, hey, if one spot becomes available, let's go. So luckily it was a group of 3 that all of us went, and it was a good time. They called us and they said, hey, we have spots available for the destination that you're trying to go to, and you just have to be here at this time. Okay, great. Like, this is what you can take. So we showed up to where we needed to the airport, and from there they flew us out to where we needed to. We just had to make sure that we had to be back at that time, like going and coming back at a certain time. But the actual travel did not cost us absolutely anything. It was just what we spent during the trip.
And that happens every day all over the world. Even at March Air Reserve Base, you can get space aid travel from there.
You can.
Actually,
You very much so can.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it goes for, like, I know you guys are thinking, hey, I'm young, I don't want a family yet, but when you have a family, it's the same thing.
Yeah, I took my family. I lived in Japan, so we would travel to Korea, the Philippines, and it didn't cost much.
Not much at all. Yes.
Does being in the Marine and having a family, does the Marine help you at all with your family?
It does.
Like,
it very much so
when
does.
it comes to, like,
go ahead, keep going. I'm sorry.
No, because I remember my uncle telling me that when he was in the Marines, they helped him a lot whenever he was, like, having to move. They would always help them with, like, his family, making sure they were, like, safe and had somewhere to stay and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. So my daughter is 4. She was born on the East Coast in Maryland. At the time, I was stationed in Quantico, Virginia. Moving from there to here, they paid, well, at the time when my daughter was still, when I was still pregnant, they provide, like, they give you the money for you to look for a location, like for you to look up for an apartment, a home, whatever it is that you want to set yourself up. They also help, like in my particular case, they helped me with a few of the baby supplies that I needed. They also helped me with just setting myself up initially as a first-time parent, not necessarily knowing what I'm about to get into. They do help you with all that. They have within base, like within the bases, they offer different classes that you can go to, just to make sure that you as a first-time parent know what to expect, know what you're doing. When you're moving, when you're transitioning from one area to the next, they do help you with finding schools. They help you with finding daycares. In my case, it was daycares. Base offers daycare on base. So childcare, they offer that at a lower rate than some places are. They offer after-hour care and early care, because they understand that sometimes we have to either go into work early or stay a little bit later. So they do have those additional programs. Not to mention, when you transition, for instance, here in this current job that I'm doing as a recruiter, I'm not on base. So I don't have the same benefits of, let me go and enroll my kid to this high school or this center, this facility. So what happens is, like, if you guys know where we're located, we're by Chaparral High School.
Yeah, they know
Yes.
that. Yes.
Okay, perfect. So my daughter goes to preschool at a school right behind it. That one is, it's government approved, which means that they help me financially to pay for that school. Why? Because it's a lot more expensive than what it would be on base. So they help alleviate some of that cost for us, in the sense of, we understand that we're putting you in this duty and we're going to essentially help take care of you guys and your family.
And they also move your furniture for free.
Oh, that too. Yes. So I have not had to pick up a box in years.
Right. So unfortunately, we're up to the next period coming up. So we want to thank you for this. We will visit you again, period 3, 4, and 5. If you're still here
Perfect.
today.
And if you guys would like, follow the Temecula _Marines Instagram page. You'll see